I've been looking up references and discussions on ASMR lately, and I found some things are conspicuously absent. People have talked a lot about whether ASMR is sexual, and none of them have talked about getting ASMR from sexually explicit material. Nobody said, oh, I watched this video or audio, listened to it, and I got really tingly and my anxiety was so relieved and I just fell asleep right away. This is although in some cases I've read reports of people trying to have sex and one partner falls asleep, so that before it can really get started. So it's definitely had the equivalent of an ASMR effect in that case. And if someone's preferred trigger is someone speaking in a low, soft voice, then that can be found in erotic audio and or video. In some cases it's even referred to, saying you're getting tingly and so on. And that material has been around longer than official ASMR material has. So the means of causing the tingle response have been there for quite a while, and it wasn't given a separate name then. Why now? It seems to me that there's a similar phenomenon to what goes on with slash fiction, in that the basic premise of it is that there's something initially non-sexual, and then the fans take that and make up a sexual version of it in their heads and or write it down and redistribute it as fan fiction. This causes a separation between the original source material and the sexual response, and an attempt to distance the fans from it. So they're getting something sexual while pretending it's not happening, which is very much, it seems to me, like what's going on with ASMR. There are some telltale signs of this that I can see in people's artificially drawn distinctions between sex and ASMR. Now, they aren't, as I see them, physiologically the same. There are significant differences. In ASMR, there's no tumescence or lubrication going on. There's nothing moving toward a specific response that's a sexual one, unless someone is aroused and tingling ASMR at the same time. They can be separated. So ASMR is kind of like a massage. But one of the arguments regarding a massage metaphor is that massage is used to relax people and put them to sleep, whereas sex isn't. Well, massage can be stimulating as well. If somebody's been starved of touch for a while, they'll feel tired because they haven't been touched. And when they get a massage, they can perk up and feel active again. Also, a percussive or forceful massage is not going to put someone to sleep. There's another artificial distinction, as I can see it, between ASMR and sexual activity by saying that one's designed to be relaxed and the other relaxing, the other one's designed to be stimulative, in that if you rely on an external source for ASMR, then while someone's talking or making soft sounds, you can fall asleep. But if you're trying to internally self-trigger the ASMR, the same does not apply. It's like the difference between being massaged by someone else and massaging yourself. You're not going to fall asleep right away while you're doing your self-massage. So that's an artificial distinction, as I see it, between the two. But there are many factors in ASMR that resemble those of slash, and that is the attempt to put as much distance as possible between the original stimulus and the response. And in some, that could be a means of creating plausible deniability that there's something sexual going on. These are distance. The one who makes the initial stimulus is far away. There could also be a sexual partner distance. It's the one who makes the initial stimulus could not be someone the receiver would normally perceive as a sexual potential partner. There's also the therapeutic excuse. The ASMR is said to be therapeutic, and when presumably sex wouldn't. There's no inherent reason why sex can't do the same things, as I see it, as ASMR, in terms of relieving anxiety or stress or putting someone to sleep. Unless the initial anxiety is caused by someone's feelings about sex, and then they look for a way around it. But here I see a lot of potential being missed out on, and really what you see a lot of in the internet is the artificial creation of barriers to solving the problem that you set out to solve in the first place. Anxiety as according to some references I've read, is supposed to be healed by being confronted, not being run away from. So when someone creates an artificial category and says, this is not really sexual, I'm going to set this aside and have pleasure in this safe place, they may not be confronting the original source of what gave them their anxiety. A confrontational approach would be to say, okay, I'll just use this sexually explicit material, but I'm not going to be aroused by it. I'll use it for going to sleep or relaxing or whatever. Or better yet, one could seek the sort of ASMR experience that has to do with confronting one's inactivity or source of anxiety. Now, ASMR doesn't have to happen while somebody's being passive and relaxing, which is what worries me about it. There's this promotion of just kind of sitting down, escaping from the world, and being quiet and not really doing anything actively to change your situation. Whereas in some of my videos I found that I can experience ASMR while hiking stairs, while getting my exercise, or while coming up with a new idea, or while talking excitedly about something that interests me. So there's this element of passivity in explicitly recognized ASMR. Another element that I see is that there's this tendency for people to say that ASMR occurs in the scalp and the back of the neck, and sexual sensations, of course, occur elsewhere. But I found that after practice and after carefully trying to recognize where ASMR is occurring in me, I can feel it pretty much anywhere. This distinction would not have to be drawn if people didn't have anxiety about comparing ASMR to a sexual response, even though I think they are different. There's a tendency for me when I get tingling quite well, in that I would have to concentrate to know where the tingling is going on, because I'm feeling it practically everywhere, so I can't notice it everywhere at once. I have to check, okay, actively think, okay, am I feeling this in my soles of my feet right now? Or am I feeling it in my biceps or at the end of my nose? And some places are slightly more obvious than others, so you have to consciously check, or I do, in order to see that the response is happening everywhere. And in terms of us living in very anxious times, this potential response is happening virtually everywhere, and that we need some means of coping and fighting back against what is causing these mental difficulties. And one of them primarily, I think, is people's difficulty in dealing with the notion that sex could be therapeutic. It could help people live healthier lives. And we have to, I think, confront that and say we shouldn't have official prohibition on it as a means of selling products, so that people are sexually deprived and will associate sex with what they want to buy, and will make them go out and buy stuff they don't need and that won't help them. So ASMR has to undergo a few changes, I think, before it goes down that. Otherwise, it'll just go down that same road. It'll be a way of providing escapist, false, temporary relief from anxiety, and making people less aware of the things out there that could really address the root causes of anxiety.